Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Google Diaspora Network webinar. It is such a pleasure to have you all with us this evening. I see Corey. I see Ophelia Mensah. Yes. To all our GDN members, friends, and partners joining us from different parts of the world, you are very welcome. And thank you for making the time to join us. If everyone can hear me, just let me know if you can hear me in the chat box now. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Hello, Ophelia. Hi. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes. Okay, Martha, welcome. Okay, so there's Martha, there's Ophelia, and there's Corey, and they can all hear me. That's exciting. So tonight we are continuing a conversation that has generated a lot of interest following our first fish farming webinar. After the session, we received quite a number of questions from people who wanted to understand the fish farming better. We had people asking, when are you doing the fish farming webinar again? Can we have another session where we can ask more questions and tell us something very important? So the real interest in agriculture and agribusiness has actually grown since last we had the fish farming webinar. Particularly among those looking to invest, start businesses, or diversify what they are doing. So tonight we are bringing the conversation back again, and then we have our very own Gabriel Latte, that is the CEO of Latman Farms, with us again, coming to walk us through the opportunities, the challenges, what to look out for, the yield, how much it will cost to set it up, and then any other questions you have regarding fish farming. Gabi is here to answer all these questions. So Gabi is actually a guru when it comes to fish farming. And then, so yes, he's super excited to join on stage. So let's see, am I here? I have Charles here. Charles is working on his sound. Charles, let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me now, you let me know if you can hear me, Charles. Yes, Corey. Yes, Gabi's very phenomenal. He's one of a kind. I think Corey can attest to the fact how much her DMs were blowing up after the first fish farming webinar. It's exciting. So yes, we've brought it back again. So it's a time to ask all your questions you have regarding the fish farming. Hi, Sarah. Charles, I still need to know if you've been able to work on your sound. So just send me a wave if you've been able to work on your sound, Charles. Okay, Gabby, so if you're ready, yeah, Corey says she's still getting messages from the first fish farming video. So I'll be bringing Gabby to the stage now. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Madra. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and you?
I'm also fine. I'm also fine.
It's been exciting. Oh, okay, Charles can hear us now. So I think I was just telling Corey and then everyone in the chat box that since the first fish farming webinar, we've been having lots of messages. It's been crazy. People have so many questions about it. So we brought you back again to walk us through the fish farming opportunities, what to look out for, and then the cost involved, the challenges, and all that. Gabby, can you hear me? Hello, Gabby. Hello, Gabby, can you hear me? Yes, Charles, thank you so much. You worked on your sound. Samson, you're welcome. I can see Samson. Charles, Martha, Ophelia, Corey, our superstar. Okay. Hi, Gabby.
Yes, madam.
Yes. So we are very excited people here. wanting to hear from you regarding fish farming and the opportunities in that sector. But before we get started, I just want you to run us through what it's been like since the first fish farming webinar you did with Guba. How has it been with the Guba Diaspora Network after your first fish farming webinar? Hello, Gabby. Hello, Gabby. Hello, Gabby, if you can hear me, your screen has gone off. I think Gabby's having some challenges this evening. Hi, Gabby.
Yes, Madra.
Yes, you keep going on and off.
I don't know. After working out all of these things.
But did you hear the question? I was asking, since the first fish farming webinar you did with Guba, how has it been with the interest following most of the participants that joined and also people that got to know you were doing this? How has it been like?
I mean, it's been good. We start. Is there an echo?
No, it's fine. I can hear you clearly. Let me
Okay.
check if you, can everyone hear Gabby clearly? You let me know in the chat box if you can hear Gabby clearly. So they are saying that there is an echo. Yes, there's an echo.
Is there still an echo?
I can hear you clearly, but yes, so there is a confirmation that there is an echo.
Okay. Is it better now?
I should think so. So just run us through how has it been since the first fish farming webinar video you made with Google Diaspora Network?
I mean, the first. There's still an echo.
You can hear you.
Wait. Please check on the chat if they can still hear an echo.
Yes, they can hear you, but there is an echo.
Let me.
Guys, apologies. I think Gabby's having some issues with his device. Trying to work on that, and then we'll get started ASAP.
I think it's better.
Okay. Hi, Gabby. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Hopefully, last longer. How has
Right.
it been since the first fish farming webinar video? I think you had that in May with Pearl. How has it been since that fish farming webinar?
I mean, a lot of people decided to reach out via email later on, and then some also wanted further details. We've had about quite a number of people coming in latter part of June. To some of them decided to just visit the farm because after the webinar in May, I mean, though the farm was functioning, in the I'd say early parts of June to the latter part of June, I was not in the country. So some people still were able to visit, but then some also decided to wait. And so when I came back, and then some of them also decided to visit the farm and really look at what we are doing and how well we can do something with them. So, I mean, it's been pretty much amazing. A lot of very good questions, and then also the interest is up there. So, it's been pretty good, and it gets
Okay.
better and better by the day.
Okay. I think oh, so Corey says she's visited the farm and it's been amazing, and it was amazing. I don't know if you know Corey, yeah? So I'll start
Yes,
there.
I know her.
Corey, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Corey.
okay.
Corey
So
visited
Gabby,
the
what made you
farm
decide
for
to
the
go into
training.
fish farming even in the first place?
Okay, so I decided to start fish farming. It was fish farming was actually a therapy for me. I had lost my dad,
Wow.
and I was running a previous business which was into uh, manufacturing of shoes and retailing of shoes. And then when I lost my dad, I lost interest in everything. And so we had a pond in the backyard, and I started as a hobbyist, just keeping some fish. And quite a number of people who visited were always going to ask, "Hey, I'd like to do the same thing what you are doing." And so it got to a point in time I decided to now try and study for it, including some picking some courses and then spending time being on farms here and there, and that's how far we've come with this thing we are doing. I started in 2020 post COVID, and we are in 2026,
Okay.
so almost 6 years now.
Wow. I did not see that coming. But then we thank God for that. And I think you've been doing amazing. Everyone can attest to the fact that when it comes to fish farming in Ghana, you are the actual guru. So, our guru, please take us through what you have. I know you have some slides you want to walk us through. So, we'll make the
um,
slides available. Will the slides be made available to the participants just so they know?
so what we'll make
Or
available
if
to
you make
the
another
participants will
version?
be some, yeah, some details. Um, I wanted you
Okay.
to
Okay.
project for me, okay? Because I
Okay.
realized when I
Okay.
try, then the sound keeps on going. Okay, so please,
Okay.
you can help me with
All right.
that.
So I'll project that for you. Okay.
All right, great. So talking about fish farming as an opportunity, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities in various aspects of farming in Ghana, and I would say every industry needs to be well understood, and then also you need to know exactly what you are trying to get yourself into. You also need to know what kind of opportunities are available in these kind of industries, and then you sort of match it up with what your expectations are, what you want your money to do for you, and then what your the things that aligns with you. And so, fish farming has been one of the areas where uh, we are asking a lot of people to take advantage of. Why? Because of the demand, because of the fact that we have some food scarcity in there and would want to be able to solve some of these problems. And then we also have nutritional needs. And then we have potential in Ghana, in West Africa, and then outside of Ghana. So among all of these things makes it very interesting for us to consider this kind of industry. Okay. And so when we talk about fish farming as an opportunity, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities, but I have sort of found out an opportunity that is quite easier and simple for people in Ghana, people out of Ghana to easily join. Just a quick background information. So Lathman Farms has been running for almost the past 6 years. I would say in as of 2024, early part of 2024, we had set up over 170 farms across the country. Out of these 170 farms, we've also consulted for farms in different parts of Africa. We've set up a farm in Gambia. We've set up something in Sierra Leone. We've had people travel from some of these countries to Ghana to come and learn. So we've got people that they've been in from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Nigeria. They just come and then they come and learn how to do it and do it right. And aside that, we've organized a lot of trainings, and these trainings were trainings that were providing people with practical know-how as to how to actually farm. Aside that, we've been partakers of huge training opportunities. And so far, I can boldly say that we've trained quite a good number of people, over 500 people, I mean, face to face. And then we've got an online community on the Latman Farms YouTube where we've got, I think, close to about 45,000 subscribers or so, where there are a lot of information that we always do share when it comes to um, fish farming. And so in today's presentation, we are going to quickly look at a few things. And so we are just briefly going to look at the industry overview. We are going to look at the value chain mapping. We are going to look at what the aquaculture development plan is. which is Ghana as a country, together with all stakeholders, coming together to say we need to draw a plan for this particular industry. And it shows you the trajectory of the industry and what we are trying to achieve in the next 5 years, which would help you to understand a few other things. And why are we saying you should farm the freshwater fish like tilapia and catfish, or invest in a farm in tilapia or catfish? And then a few things you need to understand. So there are, because we have over 60% of our clients being people in the diaspora who want to own a farm, run a farm, and what have you. There are a few things we also touch on over here: farm planning and setup, daily management, farm management practices and systems. We're also going to discuss something small about around feeding and growth, water quality, harvesting and marketing, and then profitability. And so the first thing we will be looking out for will be the global production outlook. Now, when we talk about the global production outlook, this is a document that tries to put together the entire production of the world. And so what I put over here is data from 1990s to about 2022. Reason being is we are waiting for the updated version of it, but this is the current information that we do have according to world statistics. And so if you look at the information over here, it talks at the top part of it, it talks about the 1990s. So it's talking basically about production, right? So production in the 1990s, in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And the volumes that are produced per year, we are looking at it in million tons, okay? Million tons in terms of weight of the fish. So on the left part, you can see that there's something called, there's a word like production over there, and then under production, we've got capture fisheries. Now, when we talk about capture fisheries, these are basically people using either boats, canoes, ships, or people diving in water bodies, including the sea, to go and capture fish. So if there's a river and people are capturing fish from the river, if the people are capturing fish from the sea, this becomes the capture fisheries. Then, so when we talk about capture fish, then we've got the inland and then marine. So the inland is basically going to be like farming on, or people trying to capture in our water bodies, with the exception of marine life, which is the sea. And then now we look at the total capture fishery. So to do this quickly, we've got the inland production in the 1990s was about 7.1 million metric tons. And then now we have 9.3 million metric tons. We've got 11.3 million metric tons in 2010. And then we've got in 2020, we've got at 11.5 million metric tons. In 2021, we got 11.4. And then in 2022, we got 11.3. I want you to focus on the 2020 figure to the 2022 figure for inland capture fisheries. It was 11.5 million metric tons in 2020. The next year it reduced to 11.4, and then the next year it reduced to 11.3. This is an indication that the natural production of fish in these water bodies is gradually dwindling. Now, when we go to the marine life as well, when we look at those three areas as well, we are seeing a figure of 78.3 in the 2020. It came up a little bit to 80.3, and then now it's reduced again to 79.7. So the total capture fisheries we are seeing is, in 2020, the total capture fisheries were 89.8, and then it went up to 91.6, and then it dropped again to 90.0. So there are a few things that do happen. For example, there's this thing called, or which the Fisheries Commission of Ghana, not only in Ghana, but a lot of the countries in the West African coastline, we are looking at from Sierra Leone to Liberia to Cote d'Ivoire to Ghana to Togo to Nigeria to Benin, Cameroon, and all of these countries down there have a challenge. And the challenge has to do with people having vessels on the sea and what they are doing is they are farming in areas where they are not supposed to farm, and that is really affecting production of fish, and for that matter, the fish that we need, or the fish that they are almost always able to get from the sea, they are not able to get that. Then now we come to the next area where we talk about aquaculture. So aquaculture is fish farming. Human beings deciding consciously to put up systems to produce fish. And so inland aquaculture can be the tarpaulins, people farming across the lake, the dams, the rivers, people having backyard system, concrete tanks, earthen ponds, right? And when we look at the figure in 2020, inland aquaculture, we're getting a figure of about 54.5. Sorry, let me drink water. It can be. So in inland aquaculture or inland fish farming, we are looking at a figure of about 54.5 million metric tons. Then it went up the following year by 56.4, and then it went up again the following year, which is in 2022, by 59.1. Now, when we come to the marine life, where people are culturing salmons and what have you in European countries and parts of Asia and what have you, you are seeing the figure going from 33.2 to 34.7 to 35.3. And so in terms of total aquaculture, we are seeing in 2020 87.7. It went up to 91.1, and then it went up again massively by 94.4. What is this telling us? This is telling us that it's getting to a point in time where what we are producing in our aquaculture systems is producing more for us than what we could find in the what we could just harvest them in terms of capture fisheries. And this is very, very important, because we are getting to a point in time where we have a lot of people, or we have population growing, demand growing, but the supply in the natural systems are reducing. That is why aquaculture today, as we speak, is producing more for us as human beings than what we would have just gone to the sea and just captured and brought them in here. This is very important for us to understand. Now, I want us to just skip to the exports or the trade aspect of all of these things. I want you to envision the amounts of money we are going to be mentioning over here. No, please go back to the same. Go back to the same. Good. Now, when we go to the trade aspect of it, let's look at exports. Now, we are in these figures. We are talking about value in billions of US dollars. Okay, so if you look at exports of aquaculture, which is from countries to different countries, total global exports in 2020 was $151 billion. And then in 2021, it went up from $151 billion to $176 billion. And then it grew up again to $192 billion. This is just for you to know the kind of industry you are getting yourself into. Now we can talk about, the next thing we can talk about will have to do with value chain mapping. So next 2 slides. Good. Now, when we talk about value chain mapping in aquaculture, because it's a big industry, there are different segments of the industry that you and I can come in and take advantage of any of these segments, right? So the aquaculture value chain in Ghana, the first aspect we can look at is input supplies. Because now aquaculture has become the vehicle, or fish farming has become the vehicle to supply the nutritional needs of Ghanaians. Why? Every Ghanaian eats about 23 to 26 kilos worth of fish in a year. Therefore, yes, that's how much we are taking in. And as we are taking in that amount, Ghana as a country, we are producing no more than 60% of what we need when it comes to fish, which means there's a huge deficit of 40% that we need as a country we are not able to produce. And so anytime a country is not able to produce something, what do? They look out of the country to find ways to get that into the country. So Ghana as a country is importing about, with a deficit of about 40%, we are importing close to between 15 and let's say 18% of what we need per year. That is our imports, and that is over $200 million. So as you and I we sit here, there is a market currently available in Ghana worth $200 million, and it's because people cannot get what they want over here the way they want it with the right quality, and so they are looking for from getting that from elsewhere. So that is a big opportunity,
Yeah,
and
it
because that
is.
is a big opportunity, if you want to get into this industry, you need to understand what are the areas of the industry I can take advantage of. So one of the areas of the industry we can look at is input supplies. So input supplies basically is where you are looking at what are the farmers looking out for to use in their farming practices or to use for their farming. So for example, in on my farm, we do a lot of the tarpaulin systems, right? So on our tarpaulin systems, what are the inputs? Tarpaulin, metalworks, plumbing materials. We will need feed. We will need sometimes other accessories. Depending on what you are culturing, you may need aerators and a whole lot of things that you can bring in. So there is a big market for input suppliers. People who just say, you know what, I'm just coming in and I'm coming to provide you with nets. I'm coming to provide you with scoop nets. I'm going to provide you with all of these things that are necessary for your production activities. Then the next area from there we want to look out for is the hatcheries. So the hatcheries are basically going to be places where we produce small fish, which we call the fingerlings. And for example, we run a hatchery, and so we produce the tilapia fingerlings and the catfish fingerlings, and we sell to farmers about 2 cedis for one. And so that is another source of income for us. The only thing with the hatchery area is you need so let's say the expertise required is extremely high or is high, and then also you'd also need good amount of people on ground to help you to manage that area. Then after that, we are looking at those who are doing the actual production. So someone says, you know what, this is my land, I want to go and farm on my land, and so I've gotten all the inputs, the farm has been set up, I'll get my fingerlings, I'm only going to grow my fish and sell. So that is another area where people can make money. Then we go to processing and value addition. Now, when it comes to processing and value addition, it's basically things trying to add value to the fish. So adding value to fish can be when they are being killed freshly, you clean them. So if it's tilapia, they are descaled, and then you can have the guts and what have you removed and clean nicely. So anybody who buys it doesn't necessarily need to do anything. You just wash them, you package it nicely, and you've added your value. If it is catfish, you can decide to smoke them, put them in chunks, put them in flakes, powder them, and then now you can make them available to the market, because the powdered catfish and what have you, or the powdered fish or fish can be used in different diets, from baby diets all the way to adult diets. Then the next thing is distribution and logistics. So distribution and logistics, basically there are a lot of farms that do not have trucks to help them to move their produce to the market. So you can decide, I'm going to invest into the distribution and logistics aspects of fish farming. So logistics, moving, let's say, live fish from farms to other farms. So it can be fingerlings, it can be matured fish, or moving dead fish or fish that have been processed and what have you to the market. Another area is retail and market. So retail and market, you take the fish from any of the people who are producing the fish, and then you just have them on your shelves. You can label them nicely and what have you. And then we've also got people who do research and innovation, people who do consultancy in terms of sustainability compliance, and then also people who do assessments of the market. As I'm speaking to you now, I happen to fall in about the first three, sometimes the first four of what I've mentioned to you. So I'm an input supplier. I have a hatchery. We run production on our farm. Last time I was telling Madra recently, we are now going to produce huge chunks of tilapia on the lake, and we'll be sharing a bit of some of those updates with you guys too as well. And that is huge for us because the
It is.
the the, the initial capital is encouraging. It's in the thousands of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that is good for us because we realized that last year December, right? This is what happened last year December. By second week of last year December, there wasn't tilapia available in Ghana. And
Really?
yes, a lot of people didn't realize. So you realize that currently, still the price of tilapia is a bit on a high. But because people are not farmers, they don't know. So let me give you an example. 1 kilo of tilapia can be, depending on the size, can be 2 pieces of tilapia like my hand, or 3. How much do we buy the tilapia on our soup? And what I buy my tilapia from one of the restaurants is 145 cedis. So you see the value, you see the margins I'm talking about coming in there. And so I do from input supply, I set up farms, I consult, I train, I have a hatchery, I sell fingerlings, I run a fish farm. And so it's a lot. Then the next thing we want to look out for is the Ghana National Aquaculture Development Plan. So under the Ghana National Aquaculture Development Plan, this is where government decided, no, we can't wait for the industry, for the aquaculture industry to just collapse, or we leave it at it like that. And so the decision that was made, today I was going through my phone, I realized the Chamber of Aquaculture Ghana had sent me an email, and then they sent me a reminder. I think in the course of this week, we are supposed to meet on some stakeholders meeting. And
Okay.
what are these things supposed to do? We come up with a national plan for aquaculture. So the national plan for aquaculture tells us this is how we want to produce. This is the quality we are looking out for. These are the markets we want to achieve. These are the production tags that we want to, or targets we want to be able to meet. All farmers and all stakeholders, including feed companies, fish farmers, those who are buying, those who are selling, everybody in the industry, this is where we are going. And so everybody knows, okay, this is where we are going, and you know whether you invest your money in or not. One of the important things for me when I joined this industry, I said I was going to give myself 10 years of the industry. After 10 years, if I don't see what I'm looking out for, I could look out for something else to do. Less than 3 years into the industry, I realized this is what I need to do. Reason being is Ghanaians need a lot of standards coming in, and people in the diaspora do have a lot of that they can share with us. I am telling you this, I cannot produce alone for Ghanaians. Even if all of us on this live stream, we are farmers and we are producing, we are not going to meet the current demand we have as a country. And that's amazing. And so the Ghana National Aquaculture Development Plan, one of the areas we want to look at is one of the operations that they are looking towards is to facilitate sustainable investment in aquaculture by the private sector. I am part of the private sector. You on this webinar, you are part of the private sector. So this is the plan. With government, with the ministry, with all stakeholders, what the plan is to promote aquaculture investment and related opportunities. This is going to say that it is good that on a conscious note, both the government and private individuals have decided that we are going to promote aquaculture investments. The next thing we are going to do is government is saying that they are going to facilitate access to land, to capital, to skilled labor, and provide incentives. An example of that incentive is tax waivers to investors. And that is an amazing thing that we can all look at, because if I want to start something in fish farming and these things are available, it tells me that even if I have a small space or I have something small I want to contribute, in terms of the industry, there are supports and things I can sort of get to help me to maximize the small I am investing in the industry. There are some other industries in Ghana that have not gotten to this particular extent. And as we all know, industries do take time to grow. There will be a lot of mistakes, there will be a lot of challenges. We improve on those challenges, they become ripe for you to invest in those industries. Thank you very much. So then now, another plan from the aquaculture development plan is to increase commercial farms. Now, in increasing commercial farms, we are looking at farmed fish. That is people farming the fish. And so we want to increase farmed fish production from about 116,000 million metric tons in 2023 to about 236,000 plus metric tons. So when you look at this difference, the difference over here is almost double whatever we have. The current plan is whatever we are producing as a country, the plan by 2028 is to double that with a growth rate of 15% every single year. If we're able to do that, it means that we are going to increase the market share of fish farming, and we want to increase that from what it is in 14% in 2021 to about 25%, again, almost double of that in 2028. So we want to move the figure from, now listen to the figure in US dollars in this Ghanaian market. We want to increase it from about $132 million to about $314 million. Now ask yourself this. With this difference coming in there, who is going to take that money? If we want to move from 132 or $133 million to $314 million, who are the people going to take that money? That is where you and I we come in.
That's where we
Because
come
this is an opportunity for us. We are not saying we are going to rush and get into something that will make us get rich quick, Ponzi schemes and what have you. No, we are consciously going to take our time to understand production, understand market, understand the trends, understand quality, and meet all of these areas one after the other while we build our own legacy. This is what we have been able to do as an individual company. Set up over 170 farms, trained lots of people, and right now there are farms we've set up for people, they are doing way well than us. And there are also farms that people come to us. For example, currently the name we have as a business, we've got people reaching out to us. For example, about 2 hours before this live stream, Madra, I received a message, and then there were calls following. And so quickly I decided to just read a message. And they were looking for the swim bladder of the fish. It is a delicacy in China, and people have reached out to us to see if we can get them the swim bladder.
Wow.
So this is the aspect of the value chain I'm talking about. The bow of the fish is useful. The what we think is the waste of the fish is useful. Swim bladder of the fish, and the figures they were mentioning, I told them I have a live stream. After the live stream, around 9 p.m. Ghana time, I will come and let's sit down and let's discuss the business. You understand me?
I
And
understand
and
that.
and that is the importance of connections like joining Guba and the rest. Because if I find an opportunity like this, I'm definitely coming to tell Guba so that we can all join our hands together and our resources together, meet this business, and make the money. One person alone cannot make all the money in this world.
No.
All of us together, we can do this. And so when we talk about aquaculture, there are different species you can culture, okay? Different species that you can culture. But I'm telling you, the ones in the marine, right? Like the salmons and what have you, Currently in Ghana, as an industry, I would say we don't have the logistics for that. Our industry is not fully ripe for marine aquaculture, but our industry is currently ripe for fresh water fish farms. That is why we are telling people to look at both the tilapia and the catfish. So someone will ask, why not prawns? Why not all the crustaceans that we can get, mussels, uh, all of these things? My focus as a business person is, what does the market want right now? How easy is it for me to produce for that market? And I take advantage of that. And so the reason why we are saying you should farm freshwater fish is, one, there is high demand for protein. 23 to 26 kilos worth of fish every year. If I show you 26 kilos worth fish in a basket, you'll be shocked. 26 kilos fish, you are going to get about almost 50 to 60 pieces of tilapia. And that's what you and I will eat in a year. So there's high demand for the protein, high demand. All our indigenous diets want fish in it. Doctors are saying, eat more fish. I like goat, but good doctors say that you eat more fish. And that is because people are looking for a more healthier alternative, which is in fish rather than to red meat. Then there's a fast growth. If you are farming your tilapia or you're farming your catfish, 6 months your catfish is ready. Between 6 to 8 months, your tilapia is ready for the market. If you plan your things well, you can even harvest every month. And that makes it very beautiful. Now, some of these two species have been tried and tested. And so we understand that some of them have, for example, the catfish is a hardy fish. But the tilapia is also able to withstand a lot of, I would say, changes in parameters. You just need to know and understand what you are doing. Then they are already universally distributed across the West African coastline. And so they are suitable for our climate. Last time someone was asking me, why don't you do, he said bluegill. I said, bluegill is in the US. If I produce bluegill in Ghana, maybe someone will see this and the market is not ripe for it. So these species I'm talking about are easy to farm. I've been to a farm where they are using heating and cooling systems. There was a time we were supposed to set up a farm in Baltimore, and I was consulting for them. Madam, the laws and the things we needed just before we can secure the warehouse. The investor had to bail out and go and set up a farm in Liberia, and then I think in Gambia or Guinea or so. Because the laws were a lot. It's easy for us here to do this. And then there's strong local market for fish. As I've always been saying, for the export markets, I've exported smoked fish to the UK, to Birmingham, and then to some clients in the US. What I used to do was third party. I produce them, I put them in pouches and what have you, and I give it to people and people take it out, right? But I want us to even focus on our local markets, because what we are producing easily gets away. So I was talking to one of the biggest farmers here in Ghana when it comes to tilapia production. And you know what he told me? He told me that, don't worry. He said, I was saying, oh, I want to produce for December market. He said, don't worry about December market. If you produce right now, even in January, people will buy the fish.
You have your market
Because
in January.
because the supply is low. There are just a few things you would need to understand so that you can really make good money in the business. And then the industry is ready. Industry is ready in terms of research. For example, we Latman Farms, we've got fish health specialists as part of the consultants that we work with. We've got an aquaculture lecturer as part of us. We've got a group of people who do monitoring and evaluation for us. And so the industry has almost everything that we need. Okay. Now, what if you want to? So people are listening to me and say, hey, I think I want to start a farm or something, right? There are a few areas you need to look out for when you want to start a farm. Aside getting the land, what you want to do is you want to check your water quality. Fish is going to live their entire lives in water, and therefore the quality of water is very important. So if your land is in any part of Accra, lower belt, if you can't use tap water because maybe it can be expensive, you need a freshwater body. If you can't have that, you need to probably sink a borehole and make sure it is not salty. So you check water quality before you farm, and when you have your fish in your ponds, you check the water quality on a regular basis. The next thing we look at is fish behavior. So on every day when you go to the farm, you are checking your water quality, you are checking your fish behavior, and then you record feeding. So what we do at Latman Farms is we'll give you, depending on the weight you want to get at what period, the quantity of feed you need to give them on regular basis. Every 2 weeks you recalibrate. When you see dead fish in your pond, you need to take them out, and then you need to treat unhealthy fish, and then you just need to make sure you have a very clean pond environment. Now, moving on to the next thing, you see, there are some people who say production is risk. Yes, of course, production is risk. And so they say, you know what, I will not produce. I want to process. I want to add value. So if someone has taken their time to go through the production, yours is you are going there with your standards. I want a fish about this size, looking very beautiful, strong, and all of that. Now you want to set up a fish production site where you want to process, you want to just gut them, you want to, like me, now swim bladder, look for swim bladder. So there are a few things I need to understand. One is I need to, for you guys to join in, you need to register your business. If it is a business and it's not a hobby, you need to have it registered. Depending on what you are doing at the production area, you may need the Fisheries Commission license, especially for those who are going to be producing. But this license is going to come mainly for people who are going to release a lot of things into the environment. So maybe waste from your farm is going to go into the environment. You need that. You may need also the Environmental Protection Agency, especially if you are going to be producing waste into the environment, maybe into the gutter, into some water body or anything whatsoever. And the Fisheries Commission license will tell you how you produce according to the standards of the commission. The municipal license in Ghana, almost every business that you set up in your municipality, you have to go for a license. Because you are processing and it is food, you need a Food and Drugs Authority license. And there was this thing that Ghana Enterprises Agency were doing, where if you have a registered business and you've got your product, they can facilitate the easy registration of your FDA license. I think mine, first time I did mine took like I think less than a month. I had my license to start my production. Then there's the Ghana Standards Authority license as well, to make sure you are producing according to the acceptable standards. And then GEPA, which is for those who want to export out of the country. Now, trying to wrap up, we are going to also look at the market and marketing. There are a lot of fish markets here in Ghana, wholesale and retail markets. In our local markets, we've got fish markets in Tema, fish markets in Kaswa, in Adabraka, in Asotware, in Akosombo, in Kpone, in different areas of the country. And then internationally, a lot, as I know for a fact, a lot of people buy fish. Farmers come from Togo and they come and buy fish from Ghana. Those in Ivory Coast to do the same thing. Those up sometimes to come and do the same thing. And so you can start businesses with the neighboring countries. For example, I have people who take smoked catfish from Ghana to Sierra Leone, and they use it for I don't know. I don't know whether it's for restaurants or so, but they do buy in very good quantities. And then there are the European countries, which you can look at some of the African markets. You can talk to them. Right now, if you've joined this live stream and you happen to be in any of these European countries, or you're in America and what have you, you realize that when you go and buy your catfish from the Pakistani, the Asian stores and what have you, it doesn't taste like home. That's why you can always count on your African markets to provide some of these things for you. Now, quickly, because of the time, as I mentioned, we always make sure we try to pay attention to the feeding, getting quality feed. There are companies currently in Ghana producing quality feed, so you don't need to come and say, I'm coming to produce my own feed. It's so funny when people easily try to say, I want to produce my own feed. There's a science and there's a finance attached to it. Subsequently, if someone wants to do any of these things, I can more like I'm throw more light
More light on it.
on that. Yes, and then we can adjust feed as fish grow, and then we can look at the water quality aspects too. So now for you guys who have joined, let's say someone says, you know what, last man, I want to do something in my backyard. I've got like some space. I want to do something in my backyard. What is the way for me? So this live stream is split is going to be in two things. Those who want to farm on their own.
So Gabby,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear
Good.
you.
So those who want to farm on their own in their backyards, we've got a package. So Latman Farms, we've got different packages. Package for 150 fish, 400 fish, 600 fish, 800 fish, 1,500 fish, and it comes with some bags of feed, measurements of the pond, and every package comes with the tarpaulin. So let's say you want to have the tarpaulin pond, every package can come with a tarpaulin pond, with the plumbing materials, with the fish, feed for the first 3 months, aerators where necessary, cover net, scoop net, and free training. We'll train you so you can do that. So we've got farms where people are in the diaspora and someone is managing over here, and then we sort of try to um, liaise with them. Another important thing I want us to know is, though some of the challenges I normally do find is people have invested a lot of money into the industry, they have their farm in their backyard. Latman Farms is supporting them in information, but the person on the ground on the farm is telling us stories. So that becomes the challenge. So the reason why we gave another option to this was that some people had all the resources, but they didn't have the people that they could trust with their money to run the farm for them, even on their own property. And that is where we decided to come in with something again. And what we decided to come in with was where you could invest to for us to run a farm together. So what we're basically going to say is we have an area of the value chain, right? Where we play role in them, right? So we are investing massively into production as I speak to you now. The last project we did, the calculation we did to start was a 1.2 million Ghana cedis minimum just to start. That's production, and the scale of that production is very big. Okay, and so there's that aspect of production. There is the hatchery where we are producing a lot of fingerlings. There we've got the input supply, trading, and what have you. And so we decided that people who believe their brand and believe that um, whatever thing we are saying resonates with them, they want their money to work for them. We have instances where the business opens its arms wide and say, please come and be our partner. But when you become our partner, what we are going to do is we are going to let the money work for you on our farm, and you receive some returns per annum. And so the current one we are running is a short term plan, which is for a year. We are trying to see if we can come up with a long-term plan about 3 years and above. And we did the first cohort somewhere last year. We did a sampling cohort last year. And we did another cohort in this year. And what we were saying in this particular investment was simple. You are going to get whatever you invest, you're going to get 25% per annum. So, for example, if you are to invest 100,000 Ghana cedis, what you are going to get is going to be 25,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the production cycle. There are people who we give them their returns on quarterly basis and what have you and all of that. Okay. There's a proper contract attached to it that lets you know this is the amount of money you are bringing. These are the returns. These are the guarantees. Okay. And then we show some of the guarantees in the and then what we do is we give quarterly updates on what's happening on the farm. And then for those of you guys who are not in Ghana and you want to join, so what we do is people who become partners, we give them the opportunity. Whenever you come to Ghana, let us know ahead of time, and we plan. You come, you look at what we are doing, and then you see that we are really doing a lot. So thank you guys so much, and I'm open for any question.
Thank you so much, Gabby.
Oh,
So I
welcome.
just wanted to find out that you said something about your the fishing the committee meeting that you have. So I wanted to
Yes.
find out, has that system been in existence for a while? If it has, what have they been doing and what has been put in place? And then how come the deficit got to 40% if that system has been in place?
Okay.
That was
So
just
the deficit is, as I mentioned, the deficit is, so the problem was we were all relying on natural or capture fisheries. So we're all relying on fishermen going to the marine, to the sea, or people going to our lakes to bring in fish. You and I are in Ghana. How many freshwater bodies do we have now? And so what is happening is that, yes. So what is happening is that the supply, or the supply of the fish from our water bodies had gone down. Okay. And so because it had gone down, that is when now we decided to now farm fish. So as I speak to you now, there are still quite a number of people coming in. The figure was not 60%. Oh. What we were getting was way less. Okay. But right now we are
we are
taking
doing better.
advantage, and we are growing. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So if Ghana is importing about $200 million worth of fish, what I want in the next 5 years is that every year I can get like some 1% of $2 million. You to come and get some, if not 1%, come and, for some of us, you will want 5%. Some of us we want 0.5%. Okay. And so this is why we have this opportunity for us to take advantage of. Corey was asking what's the minimum. So our minimum was 25,000 Ghana cedis for a slot. Okay, so the slots were in 25,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, but all the same, what we could do is, if there is anybody who thinks maybe they are not able to meet the 25, you can still reach out to us, and then we can find out what we can see what you can get. If you reach out to us outside of this live stream, there's a possibility of your returns will be less. So if you come, you have to mention, I joined the Guba cohort 2. Because the last time I spoke to Lady D, right, I told her it was like a 20%. And she said, oh, do something for my Guba people. Do something for, and we brought it up to 25. So if you come and you don't mention Guba, the contract you see will be like some 20%. Okay. So just let us know that you join this live stream, and we'll know how to treat you. Okay.
Yes, so I think I dropped the link to the Guba Diaspora Network in the chat box. So you can join the Guba Diaspora Network by clicking on the link. I'm sharing it again. Or you can send an email. Just now, I'll pin that again. Yes. And then we can connect you straight to Latman Farms, and then you get your 25% instead of the 20%, like Gabby said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gabby, this has been very insightful, and then I don't think there are any more questions coming up. So what we are going to do is to reach out to everybody that joined this live stream. We are going to reshare the recording with them, and then yeah, if they have any questions, I think we'll do a direct introduction to Latman Farms, and then you can pick up from there. So the introductions, as well as those that want to come to Ghana and then see the farms. So yes, you just reach out to Guba, and then we'll facilitate all that for you. Thank you guys so much. And then Gabby, any last words before we end the stream?
Okay, so my last words will basically be, the time is now. Now where there's a lot for us to all get out of this industry. Okay. I've had friends who today, when they see me, they're like, I wanted to start this thing 4 years ago when you started and your videos were online. That was when I wanted to do it. But right now, some of them, they've seen how far we've gone, and it's difficult for them to join. So my bit for everybody is, do your due diligence. Don't worry. We are not we are a business that we are interested in very good reputation. We are interested in making a good name for ourselves for a long period of time. Okay. And if you go on Latman Farms YouTube, you see the social proof over there, awards and things we've
Hey,
taken them in the industry. Yes, but you see us doing a lot of things, and we've consulted on national projects, governmental trainings, and what have you. So come join us, if not to even invest, at least join the team to get information, to get knowledge in due
join
time.
our diaspora network.
Exactly. In due time, when maybe we come up with another opportunity, which I mentioned that after this one, I have to get on that live stream with them. We can let you know. Maybe that one we don't need much. Just come and join us and let's do this, and then we are in business. Okay. So it's been
Thank
amazing. Thank you so much for your time,
you so
at
much,
least
Gabby.
to listening to this young man over here.
Thank you so much, Gabby. You've been doing amazing, and then we are honored to be in affiliation with you. So Corey just said there'll be a tour from the US to Ghana. So again, you can reach out to Guba and we'll put you directly in touch with Corey for the tour that is upcoming. So in September, Corey is organizing a team and bringing them to Ghana. Again, the Diaspora Network, we do all these things. There are so many opportunities you can benefit from as a diasporan. You heard Gabby said that the majority of his market is in the diaspora. Let us put you in touch with Gabby and many other exciting opportunities. Thank you guys so much, and then see you next time again.